Woohoo. All right, we're back. Our next speaker is Chloe Mustagi. She is a hacker advocate, and she's also a returning speaker from VersaCon. This time, she's going to talk about burnouts a little bit. So let's give it up
Ooh.
for Chloe. If we can get the chat hyped up, I'm gonna bring up her talk, and we're gonna give it a listen. And then after that, we have BitK, MDISec, DevParam, Sniff, JCran, and our own John Hammond coming up shortly after. So let's get this started. You guys ready?
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Should we jump into it? All right.
So hyped.
Let's give it up for Chloe.
Hi everyone, my name is Chloe Mustagi, and thank you for having me on NahamCom. I am ready to dive into my slides. I'm going to turn off my camera for now, but I promise I'll put it on at the very end, so I can focus on my slides. So today we're going to be talking about the act of balance. So bear with me for 1 second. All right. So we're going to talk about the act of balance. And what I want you to do is take a deep breath in and then a deep breath out. We're going to talk about things that are going to be hard at times, but I promise you that there's going to always be positivity at the end. So if you do not know me, my name is Chloe Mustagi. I'm the VP of Strategy over at Point3 Security. When I'm not doing that, I'm an ethical hacker advocate, meaning that I do whatever it takes to make the community better by asking the question, how can I make this better? And then connecting with other folks. So that usually means getting us rights or making sure that it's a safe space for all people to feel welcomed and feel like they can participate. I'm also the president and co-founder of WOSAC, which is Women of Security. We have chapters all over the world, and it's for women to mingle and to get to know each other and network with each other and support each other while they're in InfoSec. I'm also the founder of Women Hackers. Women Hackers is a virtual community for non-binary and women to connect, and we do workshops, we do so many things. We do events. We just did a WHacksCon recently, which had over 40 talks, CTFs, Car Hacking Village was there. Also, the Many Hats Club participated, Lockpick Extreme. So we tend to do a lot of events for our members, and it's free. And yeah, you can join. Just go to our website, womenhackers.com. Also, I'm the Hacker Book Club organizer. We have meetings every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific time. We basically read books that are written by hackers themselves, and the hacker community reads them. And yes, authors do join us, and people that are mentioned in the book itself do join us as well. And last but not least, I am a podcaster for ITSP Magazine's Uncommon Journey, along with my co-host, Alyssa Miller and Phil Wiley. And yes, that is my website at the bottom, and feel free to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. So what I want you to do is sit back, relax, and I'm going to take you through some scenarios. Imagine you're driving this car right now, and you feel so overwhelmed and like you feel like this sense of emptiness perhaps, or just feeling like just too much happening all at once. And that when you're driving on the highway, you think for that 1 second, should I look in my side mirror when merging? Because if I get in a car accident, like if something happens to me, that means I'm not responsible for that project anymore, or I don't have to do this. I don't have to feel so trapped. Or better yet, how many of you guys have ever been in this situation? You're in front of your computer, you have an inbox, and it used to take you maybe a couple minutes to respond to an email, but now it's taking 10 minutes, maybe more. Maybe it takes you hours, maybe even days. And then every time you go to your inbox, you feel this dreaded sense of this is too much. Or say you've been in this situation before. You have friends, family, colleagues, they're texting you, calling you, wanting to talk with you, but you just can't pick up the phone or you just can't respond. And the reason for that is you're either too busy, or the other thing is that you feel like they're going to ask you for something, and even calling them back or texting them back feels like a task of its own, and it becomes overwhelming at the same time. What about this? Have you been in situations where you just feel like your emotions are all over the place, in a sense that you could easily get angry or easily get sad, and you don't understand why you're suddenly feeling like this sudden urge of sadness or anger, these extreme emotions? You feel like you're overwhelmed, and you might reach for drugs, you might reach for alcohol, to help numb the situation, because you just feel this sense of maybe emptiness, or maybe not a sense of emptiness, but this feeling that you feel trapped and you do not know what to do because you're stuck in that moment and the whole world is on your shoulders and you feel hopeless. Or maybe you've had these situations where you're waiting for basically forever until the due date to actually submit something, meaning you're procrastinating. You're making sure that you don't, well, more like, it's not like you're trying to make yourself wait till last minute, but you're so overwhelmed in life and everything around you that when anything is due, the only time you're able to focus is if it's actually due on that day, maybe a couple hours before. So you procrastinate because you know you cannot focus unless you do so. You might actually ask your friends and family if they can change the event, or if they can postpone an event or a deadline, because you feel like you cannot focus and you're struggling and struggling to focus and you just cannot. Or maybe you've had these situations where you feel so tired. Like no matter how many hours of sleep that you get, you just feel so tired. You could sleep for days, but you still feel exhausted, like this extreme exhaustion, and nothing's taken away from that. Like you just feel like you're in this moment, and it's so hard to focus on anything in the morning or in the evening or during the day, because the reason is that there's something off and you don't feel like yourself. I'm talking to you today about burnout. The active balance is burnout. In InfoSec ourselves, we burn out probably faster than most other industry because we're on call 24/7. We're online 24/7. Heck, even the social media platform that we use is Twitter, which is 24/7. But what burnout is this feeling that you feel like your battery, if you are a device of your own, that your battery is really, really low. And because you can't focus, you don't have enough sleep, you feel tired all the time and nothing is helping you. You're having trouble sleeping maybe. You're also feeling maybe body aches as well. So all these stories that I told you before was something on those slides, that is, was something that I've experienced. I'm one of those people that have had on and off burnout. And that's because I like to do a lot of things. I'm a runner. I like to take on many projects and then run with it, complete it. And then I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. Why don't I do a new project? And it's something that I've been still dealing with today and trying to work with. But when we dive into this conversation, I just want you to know I am not a therapist, but I do work with therapists occasionally when it tries to bring mental health issues to the surface for the hacker community. So yes, I do work with therapists once in a while to try to help others cope or deal and to strengthen themselves and feel empowered if they're feeling isolated or alone during this time. So what is burnout? So burnout is a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by excessive prolonged stress. It occurs when you feel overwhelmed, emotionally drained, and unable to meet constant demands. In other words, you feel like you just want to shut down, like you just want someone to press a restart button. You just want to be reset or turn on and off again. But the thing to note is that there's a difference between burnout and stress. Stress is something you can deal with. You can say, for example, you can take a nice bubble bath and suddenly you feel a little bit better, or you went on the elliptical or a workout machine and you're feeling a little bit better. Burnout isn't like that. Burnout is very intense. So if you've had any of those feelings that I shared previous slides at the very, very beginning of this talk, You probably have been in that situation before. Many of us have, believe it or not. And I didn't even know the term burnout. I just knew like something was wrong. But there are ways how to prevent burnout. And one of the things is definitely on that slide, which is exercise, eat a balanced diet, practice good sleep habits, ask for help. But in reality, that's not the only thing. There are many other things because we are an InfoSec. And the key thing here is to know self-awareness is the #1 priority for you. You need to be aware that around you and how you're feeling is impacting you. You need to be aware that if you feel very tired or you're reaching for the wine or the beer or tequila, whatever you drink usually, a little bit more than normal, please note, at that moment, you might be entering into another phase. So to help you through this on self-awareness, just always ask the question, am I balancing my personal life and work life? Because when you ask that question and are able to figure out, am I balancing, that's going to be your dead giveaway. Most of the time, burnout is caused because we're not balancing our personal life and our work life. And right now, because of COVID-19, we're all stuck inside. We're not being able to go out and about. And because of that, we feel stuck. And we're overworking ourselves. We're feeling more tired and exhausted because we're not going out and having fun with our friends or seeing our family. We're stuck indoors. We cannot go to all these events. We can't go to a movie theater and go sit down in a movie and watch a movie just to take a break. There's no breaks anymore. You work in your home. You work at home. You never get your break. And if you have kids, it's harder because you are always watching your kids and working at the same time. You never get a break. But one of the things I want to throw out there is, some of you may have heard that I've always said, just turn off your devices, get rid of your devices. I don't really mean like throw it on the ground kind of situation like this. That's not what. But the one thing I do recommend always for all of us in InfoSec is to take a break. And what does that mean? That means turn off all your devices, get off of social media for 1 day per week. This is going to help you significantly by having that 1 day to yourself where you're not online. Like you can watch a movie, TV series, I don't care. Just get off your phone. Get off your phone, hang out with your friend or family if you live with someone, or just read a book or write a book or do something that's not InfoSec related. Just get off your computer. This is really important. Get off all your devices because you need to take a break at least once a week for 1 day. It will help you so much in preventing burnout and when you're dealing with burnout. The other thing you can do is write a to-do list. So I always carry a tablet and I'll write down all the tasks that I need to do. And this could be work, this could be personal life, but I make this list. And the reason I do that is because I used to deal with kind of like insomnia once in a while because I'd be thinking, oh crap, during the night, oh, I have to make sure I do this, or I have to do this first thing in the morning. Oh God, I have to do this. Oh, I have to, and then you just keep thinking about it and thinking about it. And in reality, if you actually write it down on a piece of paper, you free that set in your mind. And this is something that we all need to practice. Is I know that a lot of people believe, well, if I see the list, Chloe, I'm going to freak out because that just shows how much stuff I'm working on, how much stuff I'm doing. I get that. I understand that. It's going to stress you out at first. But I guarantee you, when you cross out something, it is probably one of the best feelings in the world. It's like, yes, this is awesome. And you feel a lot more relieved. So just have a to-do list and have it and carry it wherever you go. It's going to help you. And a lot of people that are very successful in their life, this is something that they do. Also, you can write in a journal as well. That's another thing, is to write in a journal, but a to-do list is really important. Now, the other thing you need to know is that when you're feeling burnout, you have a lot of emotions that are mixed, and it can be very hard and challenging. So one of the things I want to talk to you about is invest in yourself. That means examine your personal values and goals. That means Is there something that's missing in your life? Is your job making you happy? If it's not, what would be a good place for you to start? Maybe having that weird, awkward conversation with your manager might be the first start. Let them know, hey, I'm kind of dealing with burnout and I'm really concerned about my health. I guarantee you, your manager is going to turn around, if they're a good manager, it's going to turn around and say, I've been there before, take a day off. And this is the thing we need to do. We have to ask for help, and we also have to let people know. Because you put yourself in danger if you don't let your manager know that you're dealing with burnout. Because then they're like, well, Joe's not doing any work at all. Like, Joe's not even responding to his emails, really. He's so behind, he's not meeting his deadlines. I think we should let him go. Now, the thing is, that's not the conversation that you're supposed to be having. There are signs when someone's burned out, when they're not responding to their emails in times, or not following up on a project and a deadline. That's something you need to know, is that if you are working in a work environment that they don't help you or they don't understand you, they don't even turn around and say, hey, are you doing okay? I've been noticing you've been doing this and that, and I just want you to know, like, I'm here for you. That's a good manager. That's a manager you want to keep. But if you're dealing with a situation where you're not having that situation, I think it might be a good time for you to look elsewhere, because there are plenty of companies out there that are looking to hire someone. So just keep that in mind, and also keep a record. I always tell people, after having a conversation with your boss, write it down in an email and send it to them. Say, I just want to make sure that we had clarity over this conversation that we just had. And there's a reason for that. You want to keep a paper trail in case if any time someone comes in, it's like, oh, that person's not doing anything. Hey, guess what? You have that paper trail. Or if they try to get rid of you, you have a paper trail. It's so important to keep a paper trail. That's the one thing I've learned in my career, to be honest. But the whole thing about this investing thing is you should feel happy. Yes, at times you're going to be down, but you should feel happy when you go to work. You should be happy to be with your colleagues. You should be happy for the work that you do. If you don't take pride in that, then that's not the good place for you. And it might be a hard decision to make, but sometimes you just need to make a list. And on that list, have two sides. Things that you love about your life, things that you don't love about your life, and then see how can you make that fit. Of course, there's always many tasks in our life that we don't want to do, like taxes and whatnot, but I mean, that's just part of life. But if it takes you so much and it hurts so badly, then this is something to reconsider. So I want the main takeaways of this very short talk on burnout, but overall, when you feel overwhelmed, do a device detox. Like I said, do a whole day without any devices, without social media. Let your friends and family know that you're going offline for the day and not to worry about you. This is really important for you and also for your loved ones to know. When you feel overwhelmed, invest in yourself. That means, heck, if I'm going to feel better if I buy a painting kit so I can start learning how to paint, so be it. I will purchase it. If you want to learn how to cook, take the time and do so. That's really important. You need to invest in yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself, who's going to take care of you? The other thing is, if you don't take care of yourself, how are you able to take care of another person? There's a reason why when you get on a flight and they're like, let the airbags come down, first cover your face, then assist the other person, because you need to do that. You cannot take care of another person or support another person when you're not doing well yourself mentally. When you're feeling overwhelmed, ask for help. Please, this is the one thing I always ask people. If you feel stuck, isolated, alone, talk to someone. And if you don't know who to talk to, ask a friend, ask someone. You could DM me on Twitter. There's also mental health mental health hackers, which is really important to get involved with. There's a crisis hotline chats. There's a suicidal hotline. That if you're not even feeling suicide, but you need to talk to someone because you're feeling empty or overwhelmed, and you're already thinking, well, if I get out of this by just crossing the street without looking, call them. Because that means there's a part of you that's feeling off balance. When you feel overwhelmed, write it down. Have a to-do list, write in a journal. Those are things that are really going to help you. When you feel overwhelmed, take a break. This is so important. Tell your manager, if you're feeling burned out, tell them you need to take a break, because let me tell you, the last thing you want is a breakdown or an anxiety or a panic attack. So take your break and let them know you need to, and always keep it in writing. When you feel overwhelmed, put yourself first. Like I said before, you cannot help others until you feel more balanced. If you're feeling emotionally all over the place, how are you going to emotionally support another person? You need to put yourself first at times. When you feel overwhelmed, know that you're not alone. Please note this, you are never alone in the InfoSec community. We've always supported each other, and we continue to do so. But most importantly, like I said, always ask the question, am I balancing my work and personal life? If no, take the steps to fix it, because it's only from this question that you can determine whether or not you're heading down burnout road. So if you ever feel like, I haven't spent too much time with my family and friends, or I'm not really responding to my family and friends, or I keep pushing out my family and friends for an event, question yourself, because those relationships are so important to have in your life. So do whatever it takes to keep them. And last but not least, work and personal life should not come together. If they do, you're already in burnout at this point. I just want to say thank you guys for existing. Thank you for NahamSecCon for having me. And by NahamSecCon, I mean NamCon. It was such a pleasure to be here. And if you have any questions at all, feel free to DM me at Chloe Masagi. I'm more than happy to be there and supportive. Anyway, here's my promise, my face. Bye, you guys, and thank you.
Wow, that was an awesome talk from Chloe Mastagi. I love this kind of thing because it's just a breath of fresh air. You know, we talk about so much tech and so much software and so much code, but honestly, at the end of the day, we got to keep in mind our mental health and where we're feeling, where we're at. So I love just that community, just that family, and Chloe did an excellent job of capturing that. So thank you for one fantastic talk, Chloe.